Don't let Bitcoin go down on me, yeah. Welcome everybody to another episode, a daily episode of Savage Cash. Here with me, Superman, your superhero of cryptocurrency. In the last 24 hours, we have seen Bitcoin pull back in price movement. So if we just have a look at Yield Trading View, we can see that actually having achieved a high of $8,488, so close to 8,500, Bitcoin's price has actually pulled back to the low 8,000s. And a big reason for this could be to do with what is happening, what is the state of play with ETFs. So what is the actual state of play with an ETF? Is the ETF that everybody's being so excited about, is that on the cards? Is that likely to not happen in 2018 based on new information? If you are wanting to know what is the state of play with ETFs, smash up your old likes, smash them up, and don't forget to subscribe to Team Superman for a daily video. So let's have a quick recap. So the market cap currently is $295 billion. So around about 6 billion has moved from the market, it's decreased by 6 billion since yesterday when we were feeling very, very upbeat. The 24-hour volume is 17.5 billion, so about 2 billion less than yesterday. And it could also be that some of this, a higher portion of this 17 billion, could be in taking money out, putting it into Tether, redistributing it rather than putting it into Bitcoin and putting it into the other cryptocurrencies. So let's just have a look. So yesterday, if you were watching me in yesterday's live video, you will see that I brought this article up. Actually, it came up just as I was live. I had a look at it. I read one thing into it the first time I looked at it, and then I read something into it the second time. Okay, so essentially what it was saying was the SEC has delayed making a decision on whether to approve 5 Bitcoin-related exchange-traded funds until September. That was the first line that I read, and I automatically assumed, right, that means CBOE. So they are going to move it to, I suppose, giving it approval or rejection in September. But actually, looking to the next line, in the latest edition of the Federal Register, the SEC explains that it's postponing any decision over the possible approval of ETF proposals filed by Direction Investments in January. Direction Investments. Okay, so if we go down a little bit further, what it does say is, notably, none of the ETF proposals being postponed are from Van Eck Partners and Solid X, which are the guys behind the CBOE application. So what they're saying is, actually, compared to this one by Direction, which has only had a few positive comments, the current one, the one that we're all kind of excited about, the CBOE one, has had actually more than 100 comments that have been submitted. And as we saw the other day, 97% of those comments were actually very positive. So, does that mean that an ETF is likely to be approved actually still in August? Well, it would appear that the state of play hasn't actually changed. In that, people have discussed it's the 10th or the 16th of August, and that hasn't changed. That hasn't changed. There is no delay, apparently, to the CBOE ETF. But apparently this leading ETF analyst with Bloomberg Intelligence said the SEC doesn't want any part adding to or influencing some speculative bubble. Obviously, that's referring to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies being a bubble. It's like deja vu, but I'm 10 times more pessimistic about a fund being approved. Okay, and then it also says the SEC has stated it might take 1 to 2 months to change a couple of rules. The regulator has revised its considerations a number of times. But the ETF has left no stone unturned in mounting pressure on the SEC. Okay, so the Van Eck and Solid X ETF submission is still under consideration. Okay, and in fact, Bitwise Assets Management is said to have sought for a new ETF aimed at tracking the performance of 10 of the biggest cryptocurrencies, so the top 10 cryptocurrencies. So talking about, as I was saying yesterday, ETFs are traditionally institutional investors getting involved in asset classes. So basically within a classification, they get involved in a few of the assets within that classification. So if we're talking about technology stocks, then it would be Google, Amazon, and that lot. If we're talking about cryptocurrencies, it could be Bitcoin, Stellar, Cardano, EOS, Ethereum, etc. Okay, and it could be an ETF surrounding a basket of assets that completely differ depending on what's on the application. Then we had this post on Reddit. Reddit are cryptocurrency, the place to look for news, current news. Basically, what some guy said is, no, ETFs are not getting delayed. It's the fact versus media manipulation. So in essence, CoinDesk were spreading FUD, is what they are saying. They are essentially saying that they weren't making it very, very clear on what ETF has been delayed. And he wanted, and this publisher wanted to make it very clear that the application from CBOE is still under consideration and is likely to be reviewed in August. And then somebody responded to this saying, I highly recommend reading the thread below to understand that the SEC is very likely to postpone approval of the CBOE ETF until February 21st. Now, I'm not going to go through this. You can, of course, go through this. But actually, what you seem to be seeing is two sides of the coin. Okay, you seem to be seeing the ones that are bullish on Bitcoin spreading the positivity, saying, no, nothing's been affected. This is all just FUD. It's all just crap. And then you've got another side that's looking at some of the information based on previous ETF applications and trying to say, right, well, actually, being realistic could be February 21st, 2019. So you've got two sides. You've got the bullish and you've got the bearish. You've probably got, if you look at it, you've got the side that wants to have 5-figure Bitcoin before the end of 2018, and the other side who is pushing to get Bitcoin much, much cheaper so he can buy it up so that when it does go up to 5 figures, he can, or she can actually make massive gains from it. Okay, so you have not got facts in this argument. What you've got is interpretation of the facts and looking at previous information and trying to fit with what your agenda is, okay? In cryptocurrency, lots of people have agendas because lots of people are trying to manipulate price so that they can get the cryptocurrency that they are fudding or promoting to make a movement that will benefit them. So, like I said, the person that the original op probably is invested highly in Bitcoin and very bullish on Bitcoin, and this responder is probably wanting to. It was probably one of the shorters that got squeezed out and is probably looking for some justification, or they are just coming out with different possible dates that it could happen. Okay, but what I want to make very clear is nobody knows. It could be as early as mid-August. It could be. All right. So that doesn't change. It could also be in September. And they're also, based on how the SEC has previously looked at ETFs, it could be a little bit further in the future. So basically, nothing has changed. Okay. If we just ignore this article that came out and has basically caused a hell of a lot of upset in the cryptocurrency community, if we just ignore this ever came out, then essentially we're in a position of we're back to where we were. However, looking at the price action, and this is the most important thing, disregarding the news, what we look at is the price action essentially to understand, right, what are the potential moves being made? Okay, so on one hand, if we go to the 4 hour, on one hand, we could be seeing, right, okay, Bitcoin was overbought. It has now bounced and it is slightly under overbought. So actually, this is quite healthy, a quite healthy pullback. It's just, Bitcoin and any cryptocurrency typically bounces having been overbought. It typically bounces down. But it's not a tremendous bounce down compared to there or there. This is not a tremendous bounce down. And there is still some elasticity in the price. As we can see, it's not going down majorly. It went down a little bit. It went down actually to $8,073 and since has pushed up to now $8,134. So it doesn't look as if any big major plays are being made. So what I mean by major plays is that, right, at the end of the day, the people that have the extreme wealth, the people that can really move markets, the people that can make Bitcoin go from 8,400 down to 7,800, do not seem to be making any moves in this instance. There doesn't appear to be one of these impulse waves like we saw before, these big impulse waves that basically takes the price from one league to another. We're not seeing that happening on the downward. So what that tells me is that the people who are in the know, essentially, and I'm not going to be naive, I do believe the people with wealth really do understand what's happening, you know, and they make moves based on what they know, and they use articles like this to their advantage. Okay, so what they would probably do if something was very negative concerning the ETF, is having achieved quite a nice spike in value, is they would now take their money out, put it into Tether, and you would see the price drop of cryptocurrency. Also, you would see them putting it into altcoins and riding altcoins, because that tends to be a strategy used. If we have a look back to January, then what you saw was Bitcoin going down. We're having achieved a 20,000 high, it went down a bit, and then the money got pumped into alts, and there was an altcoin rally to stratospheric scale. It was incredible. Okay, tectonic plates moved because of that altcoin rally, and that typically is what would happen. But you don't see any of those moves being played. So what I would say is that on a higher end scale, on the whale scale, as it were, it doesn't look as if any negative news is impacting that's making them take their money out. And I'm certainly not seeing that now, but we have to wait and see how the price action goes. But what you can see is that, if we just go back to the daily, is that what has actually, weekly, if we go back to the daily, what you can see is that the movement has gone away from the next resistance mark. You know, the next resistance is that 200-day moving average of about $9,000. It's moved away from that slightly, having gotten very close at 8,500. So it just seems like there's elasticity. You can see the price going up right now. So it doesn't look as if anything is showing bullish momentum's coming, bearish momentum's coming along. It doesn't look like that. So let me just make sure I'm live, because you may actually be watching me being silent, or I may not actually be live. Let me just check. Yes, you can see me. So it's all good. All good. Christine is here. Who else is here? Lisa Marie and Karan are here. Bernard is here. So we've got 880 is here. So we have got the usual suspects. Team Supo are here. If you are Team Supo, make sure that you say hi and you can be included. Dale Drury is here as well. So just say hi. Just say hi. So anyway, so that concludes what is happening on the front of the ETFs. Okay, so and Dasfire's here. So I don't, and Stefan's here. So I don't actually think anything sinister is going on in the background. I think we can just literally put this down to, right, media wants to have some attention to their articles. And at the end of the day, what makes these media corporations do really well from a revenue perspective is a lot of traffic, and particularly articles that can bring a lot of traffic, a lot of controversy, a lot of talking points. A lot of people are speaking about it. If you have a look on Reddit, you will see there's quite a few different threads about this article. So CoinDesk have achieved what they're trying to achieve more viewers. But should you take this as FUD? Should you take this as a reason to be bearish? No, not in my opinion. Everything still stands as it was. As I said, and in my own personal opinion, I don't think it's going to be made in August, because I am a realist. I know how the SEC works, but I do think it's likely to happen in September. I don't think it's likely to happen in February, but that's just my own personal opinion. And at the end of the day, no one really knows, except for probably people well-connected whales, know what's happening with the SEC decision. Anyway, let's sound a bit like Data Dash, didn't it? Anyway, let's have a look and see what's happening elsewhere in the cryptocurrency market. So Coinbase has launched a cryptocurrency gift card service in Europe. Coinbase are adding to their services day in, day out. Obviously, custody was probably one of the biggest. Personally, I would like Coinbase to concentrate on the core, okay? If you are wanting to because Ethos came out because it really solved a pain point, which is that on a global scale, it's not easy for people to enter cryptocurrency. If you're in the US, if you're in the UK, and if you're in certain privileged parts of the world, you can exchange your fiat currency for Bitcoin and buy into cryptocurrency. Otherwise, it can be a long and cumbersome process. You're going to have to go to local Bitcoins, don't get the best rates. So Coinbase, I believe, should concentrate on what the core is. The core is getting more newbies in, and until that point, I'm still incredibly bullish on Ethos delivering that value proposition. But anyway, ignoring that, they're adding to their services. They are basically offering a way for customers to purchase retail goods and services using crypto assets thanks to a partnership with digital gift card startup. So according to a report from Bloomberg on Wednesday, Coinbase has integrated its wallet services with WeGift. This allows for gift cards to be purchased by cryptocurrencies at 120 retailers in Europe that accept WeGift, including Tesco, Marks and Spencer's, which is a British brand, Uber, which is obviously the taxi disruptor brand, Carrefour, never heard of it, Google Play, and Costa. So the service is going to be available in the UK, France, Spain, the Netherlands, and Italy. So that is the state of play with Coinbase, adding to more, trying to essentially be that all-in-one solution, I suppose, for people and really give the best services to people entering into cryptocurrency. What else? So there's been a lot of people very, very fuddy on the way that India is treating cryptocurrencies, the way that India is viewing cryptocurrencies. A lot of people believe it's very negative. However, a recent report is actually recognizing cryptocurrency as an electronic payment method. Okay, now this isn't necessarily something I approve of, but the cryptocurrency ecosystem in India may have just found a lifeline, albeit an unlikely one. According to a legal report released in July 2018, the country's lawmakers are considering legalizing the multi-million-dollar sports betting industry, naming cryptocurrency as a legally acceptable payment method akin to credit cards and debit cards. Okay, so really is in the context of sports betting. All right, so actually what they're saying is, well, they seem to be looking from a legal report, which has some standing, that they are actually looking at cryptocurrencies favorably. And of course, I brought you information recently about them looking at cryptocurrencies as commodities rather than looking at them as something highly speculative and negative, which has been traditionally the viewpoint of centralized entities about cryptocurrency. Now, let's have a look and see what's doing well, what's not doing so well. So today, IOST is the key winner today. The key winner. So if we have a look and see what's happening, basically what has happened with IOST is they are being listed on Upbit, Korea's biggest exchange and the 5th largest exchange in the world. So big news for IOST. Personally, I've not looked properly into it, but if you're in IOST, you'll be a very happy person today. Zencash, I believe, have done a system upgrade, and I think that this is just reflecting, this spike is just reflecting that update. Also, we have Polymath. Now, I think that one of the big reasons why Polymath, not properly looked into why Polymath is going up, but Polymath is all about cryptocurrencies trading as securities in a legal way. All right. Now, securities is, and this is something I'm going to be bringing to you in the not too distant future. Securities, I believe, is the next trend in cryptocurrency, or one of the next trends in cryptocurrency, because of what securities actually mean for ownership of assets in cryptocurrency. So how people traditionally think of securities is they think of, right, a security token essentially allows you to get dividends or voting rights or some form of payment for holding the security token. And that is how you typically differentiate a security token from a utility token, where a utility token doesn't actually pay you rewards, doesn't give you any power. Really, you use it to use or operate the system by which that cryptocurrency is a part of. So essentially as a coin for the machine. All right. So securities have traditionally been, right, okay, so securities in the future are probably going to be, the security-based projects are going to probably be closed down by the SEC. So services like Polymath and services that Coinbase are looking to offer in the future is actually allowing these projects to thrive rather than be killed off. And securities doesn't literally just extend to tokens that pay you a dividend or give you voting rights. Actually, what it will extend to in the future, securities tokens, is you can actually own a share of the cryptocurrency. So instead of owning a portion of the available supply or even the total supply, actually what you own represents equity in that particular project. Okay, so you can actually say, right, I am a shareholder of whatever project. Okay, so I like where this is going, and Polymath is one of the very few projects that are allowing for securities tokens to do really well. Another one is Desico, which is, I think, at ICO stage. I met them at the blockchain center in Vilnius recently. Sounded quite interesting. What else for altcoin news? So, Car Vertical are finally going to be launching their product. Now, my son is particularly excited about this. You can look at the car history of certain cars on the 7th of August. The product is going to be launched. Now, this could be very good timing. This could be just in time for potentially altcoins to spike. If there so happens to be any negative press about the SEC not considering the ETF application till September before the 10th or the 16th of August, then we could see money money redistributed from Bitcoin to altcoins. So this could actually be quite a good time for Car Vertical to do quite well. Now let's just have a look and see how Car Vertical are doing today. Car Vertical, otherwise known as AutoChain, in my opinion. So they were higher, but they've gone down a little bit, corrected a little bit, but not too much. Given there is quite a massive sea of red today, this is actually a good sign that they haven't plummeted too much. All right, but long story short, ETF or no ETF? Well, the answer is ETF. Okay, it looks as if there is going to be an ETF decision, certainly before the end of the year. Certainly there's nothing there doesn't seem to be any information to conflict with that. All right, so it looks as if that's still the case. Nothing has drastically changed. So the ETF there is likely to be made a decision either August or September. Okay, so that is the state of play, and I think that is reflected in the fact the price hasn't gone down too much. If the price had gone down quite drastically, that would lead me to think, right, the whales knew this move. They knew that there was going to be news and increasing news about the ETF. They were plunging money into Bitcoin, and then they knew that at some point that information would be refuted and they would take out whale amounts from that Bitcoin and put it into Tether. And it doesn't look as if that's happening. So what that's saying is we are still very much in play. So it's still, you could be still excited about the prospect. I do see quite a few people, not only on these forums, but I also see some YouTubers that are fudding on this whole thing. And to be absolutely brutally frank, nobody really truly knows, but all we can do is look at the facts as they are at the moment. And the facts seem to be saying, certainly to me, nothing has changed with regards to the CBOE ETF. So, any questions before I allay, essentially? What do you think, Icon or Ontology, in your opinion about VeChain? I'm very bullish on VeChain. Obviously, I love VeChain. This is from Rolex23, who has paid $10 to get this answer. I do like Icon, not gonna lie. However, I'm personally not as bullish on it as a lot of people are in the community. A lot of people are extremely bullish on Icon. I think that its price, a lot of cryptocurrencies have gone down in price. All of the best ones have. And so you can't say, because it hasn't gone up in price, that means it's a crap project. But I do think it's lost a hell of a lot of what was perceived to be a very hot cryptocurrency. But Ontology, on the other side of the equation, has not had a chance to rise yet. It came out during a bear market, in which case it's not really properly thrived yet. But I do think it's going to have a real good chance to thrive in time. So, any other things? Any other questions that you may want to have answered by ye old Superman? Always make sure that you ask me while I am live and actually looking for questions to answer. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. Any other any like good questions? Do a Data Dash parody like you did with Crypto Daily. What's going on here, guys? My name is Nicholas Murren here at Data Dash, and today is the 25th of July, 2018. Too funny. Just a load of people just shouting random things. Nothing that's quite, you know, nothing that's encouraging any thought. No, there's nothing. Are you generating Tor with the VeChain app? No, I'm personally not, to be honest. I know Box is. Box is really bullish on VeChain. I'm not as bullish as Box is, to be frank. Any other things? No, thank you, Karan. I appreciate that. Right, okay, that's it. That is it for today. No good questions, so I shall allay. But I hope that you enjoyed this. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think is likely to happen with the ETF application. Let me know, are you bullish? Are you bearish on the price? Do you have ulterior motives? Do you want the price to go down so you can accumulate more? Did you miss the train? Did you not spot the signs when I said, and to be fair, right, a lot of people give me a rap and say, oh, you know, Superman's an investor, he doesn't do trading. Actually, to be honest, like, if you compare my performance with some of the top traders out there, actually, like, I have performed way better than them on the last 3 calls. So what can you say? You know, the Superman is the king. But anyway, yeah, so I don't know where I was going with that. I just thought I would get it in there. Anyway, peeps, I think that's it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time, peeps. Go out there and enjoy the sun. If you've got sun where you are, I am literally dripping with sweat right now. So I'm going to make a move before I quite literally melt on this chair. But until next time, peeps, it is lights out, all out. Da -da -da -da.